Perched nearly 150 feet above a fast-flowing river, the view from above is spectacular. Down below, a completely different perspective, but just as impressive. A massive structure brought back from the dead, now thriving.
The project was Herculean in its scale. It's a very big structure, and when we began, we didn't really have a clear idea of how the work could be accomplished. We had to feel our way into it.
Nearly 1 year after celebrating the survival and revival of one of the island's most treasured pieces of history, the Kinsol Trestle in the Cowichan Valley is once again accepting passengers, minus the iron horse that carries them. The trestle dates back to 1920, when forestry was expanding on the island and railways were key to transporting old-growth timber. But the last train crossed the trestle in 1979, and over the years it deteriorated to the point where it became too much of a liability, and the provincial government cut off access to the trestle, so all you could really do was stand there and look at it.
When we first came out here, the structure was very precarious and almost a derelict state. On its last legs, really.
But there was a handful of people, including Gord MacDonald, who had a suspicion that the trestle could be saved. And in 2006, a plan was underway to do just that. MacDonald says it was a cast of many and says his team worked 31,000 person-hours over a year and a half rebuilding the trestle. Now he stands here with an overwhelming feeling of pride.
The structure is a real treasure locally in the valley. It's kind of a hidden secret, really. But in the world of timber structures, it's a gem. This is one of the largest timber structures in the world, certainly the largest structure of its kind in Canada.
The Kinsol Trestle is one of 8 trestles along a 70-kilometer stretch of the Cowichan Valley Trail. It's 614 feet long and stands 145 feet above the Coxsila River, and it sure is something to see.
It's amazing and so nice to see a part of history back with us.
It was better that we preserved it and everything, just because it's like so old and we don't really have many of these around.
The Kinsol Trestle is near the south end of the Cowichan Valley Trail, which runs from Shawnigan Lake northwest to Lake Cowichan. You can jump on the trail from a number of locations along the route, and the scenery changes depending on where you are.
It varies from going through areas like Glenora, where it's farmland and vineyards, and then all of a sudden you're crossing a couple of trestles over rivers and creeks as you get closer to the Cowichan River, and then all of a sudden you're in forest and a couple of provincial parks.
And although the trestle has been open for less than a year, it's already attracting more walkers, cyclists, and horseback riders to the trail.
There's 5 major visitor centers in Cowichan, and they're all kind of reporting that there are people asking and coming specifically to visit this trestle because it's such a spectacular monument.
And Barry says the trail and trestle are also helping to put more life into cultural and heritage-based tourism.
When they can come to these out-of-door structures and see the kind of engineering that went on back in the age of steam, it really is impressive. And I think it stirs up a lot of interesting memories and emotions for people, and you get the old railroad buffs and the architectural buffs and the history buffs.
And whatever kind of buff you are, chances are one visit to this trestle won't be enough. A tribute to a small group of people whose passion to preserve history has given Vancouver Island something to be proud of. In the Cowichan Valley, I'm Nikki Ewanyshyn for The Daily.